almost a week ago, but not even that long, the Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA championship. That is what happened. Kevin Walsh here, of course, with Tom Vecchio and Coach James Young. And we have not had the chance, the three of us, to sit and discuss our takeaways from OKC winning this one and how many others could potentially follow, which is the second part of this conversation. I'm going to go to you first here, Coach. What kind of, as you know, we're now a little bit extra time removed away, has stuck with you about OKC winning the title?
Honestly, it's crazy. It sounds how subdued they were when they won the title.
Right.
It was almost like they expected this. And yes, they were the best team in the NBA the entire season, but they were also a team that had no players that won a title. I don't think they had even
Caruso.
But the rest of the team, extremely young, one of the youngest teams in the league. What I took away from them is their maturity level is beyond their years. You can even look at, I think there was a point in the game, Kevin, when you and I were doing it, where I think Caruso was arguing a call with 3 minutes left to go, and SG was like, yo, chill. Like, and he was so calm and very matter. I'm like, this is not a team that's got a bunch of under 25-year-olds that can't even pronounce Michelob. That's a story for another day. Chet Holmgren, we gotta. Coach,
J.Y. can pronounce Michelob.
I can pronounce Michelob coming out the womb, if you know what I'm saying. But that's what I got out of it is there was an expectation that they were going to win. They won the title, and it's almost like, oh my God, like we talk about teams like in a championship window, like literally Oklahoma City's window has just started, Tom, and this is a window just started. That if they can keep these guys together, and they're all going to be signed for next year, this window could go on for 4, 5, 6 more years.
What I would take away from it is I think that the success that they have is not being talked about enough in a capacity where 60-plus wins, dominate in the regular season, point differential, this, that, the other thing. Go on to 80. How many total wins they have with the regular season and postseason?
I believe it was 84.
84 wins. Like, this is an all-time season. SGA did something that they said was 25 years of MVP, scoring title, and Finals MVP. Like, this is legitimately a historic team. It's not just like, oh, they won the NBA Finals. They were a great team. It's like they were unbelievable during the regular season. Point differential, and you have the guy that dominates from start to finish. Like, I thought it was wonderful to see them, put a bow on it. I would also say that it's only speaks to the coach. Like the window's only opening for them.
We did just get a breaking trade in the NBA, which was absolutely not on my radar.
No.
The Chicago Bulls
They made a trade?
are trading Lonzo Ball to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Isaac Okoro.
A 1-for-1?
A big-name player, the current details from Shams suggest a 1-for-1 trade. I guess perhaps appropriate as we are. Remember how Durant gets traded day of the finals and everybody complained it was going to ruin the coverage? I guess appropriate as we're giving the Thunder their credit. We get a Lonzo Ball trade in real time. We will discuss that trade a little bit more, but some breaking news if you are with us here on this Saturday morning.
Pivot. Just really quick, your instant reaction, like literally just seeing it.
Let's take a beat. I'm not going to.
We got coach, I'm like, whoa.
Don't worry, we're fine. We got plenty of time. I just want to go back to the Thunder thing. So, and I want to say this with everyone, just know, I'm now going to, after I say this, then I'm going to talk about them winning a bunch of titles. As we get further and further away from Game 7, the more and more confident I become that the Pacers would have won that game if Tyrese Halliburton stayed healthy. And I don't say that to rile up Thunder fans. I say that because I believe it. OKC's offense looked like a Game 7 offense, Tom, right? Just as you absolutely said it would. The Pacers' offense looked like they didn't have Tyrese Halliburton. except for the portions of the game where they had Tyrese Halliburton, where they looked their usual, we do not care if it's Game 7, Game 1, Game 12. We're just going to score as we please, and however good Tyrese is exactly how good we're going to be. They averaged 109 points per game through the first 6 games of this series. They were on pace for 109 points through the first 7 minutes of the game in which Tyrese Halliburton was playing. 109 to 103, that means the Pacers would be the champs. I know that is a little bit of a butterfly effect, and things are not that simple. But I think the fact that I believe that, the fact that the Pacers pushed them to 7 regardless, the fact that Denver pushed them to 7, which again I do not think should be some Jokic legacy elevating thing, but more of a gives us an idea on OKC. I think, Tom, this team can be dynastic. I think this single individual team, the 2025 Oklahoma City Thunder, were a vulnerable group who were fortunate, no asterisks, fortunate to close out this season as NBA champions.
Yeah, this is I would relate this to a football team that was like, oh, they were 8-1 in one-score games.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like, oh, okay. It's
that.
like listen, they were a great team, and when it mattered, they showed up. But it's like, being 8-1 in one-score games, if half those went the other way, they would have lost in the first round of the playoffs. They would have lost in this, that. So I understand the argument to be had is, yes, both things can be true. They did win. They were great. They have a great core, and that core is here for years to come. But it is also to say at times they may have gotten away with one. The coin flipped in their favor 5 times in a row, 6 times around. They just kept winning and winning and winning. So, yes, and maybe this is a point of learning for them these games, the series. Because when we were talking about OKC after in the series versus Denver, we kept saying it's like they either lost close or they won big. There was no other outcomes. And they eventually started to learn from that. So this could be a good sign if you were looking for optimism as a Thunder fan. It's like they won, they got through it. Now these are the learning moments that will turn them into a dynasty.
And that is the Thunder piece of this that I do. I've heard some people saying like, oh, Milwaukee didn't win a bunch, Denver didn't win a bunch, Boston didn't, and I think that those are completely misguided comparisons. This Thunder core is much younger than all 3 of those cores. And I think, so you take those other 3 cores, right? So Shea versus Giannis, both were 26. Shea versus Jokic was 28. Shea versus Tatum, they were both 26. What I would say is Shea can stack up or is better in the Tatum case than those guys. But J-Dub to the number 2s, Middleton, Murray, Jaylen Brown, and is younger. And then Chet to the 3s. Drew Holiday at almost 30. Aaron Gordon.
Porzingis.
Derek White, I thought, maybe he had like almost 30. Like Chet's a 23-year-old. Like the Thunder's outlook is far brighter than those teams.
But it's deeper than the 3. It's the Dorts. It's the Carusos. It's the Hartensteins. It's the Wiggins. It's the Joes. It's the Walsh. And it's all the additional draft picks of capital that Sam Presti can go punt and say, I can go get another star and add to this.
What I would say to that, I think you would agree, JY. So let's say there comes a point in the Thunders where, hey, we don't have as much depth, right? But Chet and J-Dub and Shea are 3 of the 15 best guys in the league. If they can, you can lose depth if Chet can become a
Hartenstein goes out, Chet
guy.
Goes up, and they still have a pick to trade to replace Hartenstein.
And don't sleep on the fact that they got to the kid from Georgetown, who I think is going to be taking over starting position by year 2.
We are going to take a break here, the Pacers piece of this, and a breaking NBA trade all next on SportsGrid.
Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60 to 1.
My Morency drunken Brett dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the number one player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score in all three levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I do not believe, I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and OKC, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Moved again.
We're going to talk some Indiana Pacers, but we did just get an interdivision trade. The NBA does have divisions. You want to have some fun? Try and write them down at home and figure them out. I do know them all 100%. You make that face.
That's fair.
But
I know what you're going to say.
You know, you'd be surprised, and if I made you do it on air, it would take you longer than you'd want it to take you.
Oh, I would get through it. It wouldn't be quick.
It's one of the one of the weird things about the NBA though is also like I don't think like the confidence to which you can name the NFL divisions.
100%.
Like I'm talking about like AFC East. Like, hey, what are the names of the divisions?
I can name that in baseball.
No, but my point is like I don't know if everybody knows it's the Atlantic, like the Central. Like, I don't even think people know the names.
Well, I mean, they're
Atlantic,
crazy because
South,
the Southwest. And there's there's teams that
Northwest,
aren't even. The fact that the Phoenix
Southwest,
Suns aren't in the
Pacific.
Southwest Division is bananas.
Don't start doing your map stuff. No surprise that's a crusade. No, it's just, of course you are upset about the geography.
Because
of
when
where
I think of the
teams are.
Southwest, I don't think of Phoenix.
Well, what about Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys being in the NFC East?
I think it's bananas.
I knew you would. The Cavs from the Central have landed Lonzo Bulls from the Bulls.
Lonzo Ball from the Bulls.
Lonzo
You said
yeah,
Lonzo Bulls.
the Bulls.
Lonzo Ball from the Bulls.
Listen, I crushed it, all right? I don't know what's going on with
This is
Tom.
maybe our best show of the year.
What do you mean? Every show's the best show of the year. What are you talking about?
Vecchio's right side scale is pretty strong. Like, did something go wrong? Are we going nuts? Best show ever. What's your reaction to the trade?
Love it.
For?
Cleveland.
Okay.
If he's
to make sure.
if he is healthy,
Well,
which is always the thing with
Well.
Lonzo, what he was doing in Chicago years ago was shoot the ball 40% from three, and really is one of the more underrated defensive guards in the NBA at 6'6". And when you look at a team like Cleveland, my worry was with their lack of size defensively in the backcourt. It's 6'1" in Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. So if Lonzo is healthy, I think this is a home run for Cleveland. The question now becomes is, if they think Lonzo is healthy and he chose it to be, does that mean that Cleveland can now consider, once he shows he's healthy, moving Darius Garland and putting Spider in the backcourt with Lonzo and getting something back from Garland to address a little bit more front court help? But the front court help is weird because they already have Mobley, Allen, DeAndre Hunter, so it'd be more for a backup piece in the pivot.
So Garland's not going to be healthy to start the season. We know that.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great move for the Cavs, like bringing in I guess a veteran at this point. And when Garland does come back, I would like to see this as a team that is just like, like all hands on deck. It's like, listen, guys, it's like no one has to be the star. Lonzo, you're not going to be the star. Mitchell, you should still lead the team. But like, if we have everyone buy in, bringing defensive depth and guard depth is fantastic. And that is what they will need to win and compete in the East. So as long as everyone buys in after what was a great season, and I know you had a ticket on, I believe it was to win the East this past season.
To win the title.
And they weren't healthy.
Yeah.
But if they have that more depth that can be more consistent, I think they're a team that can absolutely win the East. I'm not saying I like their odds because I think they're insane at this point, but I do think they are a very viable option.
I don't even think their odds are that insane, honestly. They won 64 games.
So you like this move for them?
So the odds...
Regardless of the odds, just from basketball.
Yeah, the odds have nothing to do with it. They won 64 games. They were eliminated by the Pacers, who lost Halliburton. The other 60-win team was the Celtics, and they lost Tatum. Like I think,
and the Knicks don't have a coach.
Correct. So yeah, no, I think that their odds only reinforce how awful the Magic odds are.
Oh
like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they shouldn't be in shit.
Totally agree on that.
Here's the thing with Lonzo. I think he is a really good basketball player. But he has played in the last 4 years 70 games out of a maximum of 328. That is not a lot. And now that is an injury that ended a season, cost him 2 years, and then cost him a portion of a season. So maybe he is now closer to fine. But I think that Lonzo is not coming in. It's low risk in what they sent out. They're going to rely on Lonzo a little bit more than people may initially think. The Garland point is a fantastic one in that Lonzo could be a starting player on this team. Also, every move has like, if you're in the middle of a show, you might need to scroll so somebody can, because we're trying to figure out what's going on. Ty Jerome is an unrestricted free agent.
Yep.
Ty Jerome is not going to be a Cav.
And Sam Merrill, I think Merrill's a free agent as well.
So now you have Ty Jerome, who's very much so deep in the sixth man of the year race. You have Lonzo, who's going to be asked to start 25, 30 games for this team. Every Garland missed game, right? Probably the Mitchell missed games. They just, guys miss games. And be the sixth man of the year. So my by the way, getting rid of Okoro, fine.
Totally fine.
All good. Did the Bulls maximize value here? They never do. They're awful at this. When I see this, because I think highly of Lonzo, right? I share everyone's excitement. But I just, want to bring up, not that you guys aren't aware of it, but like, if he is healthy, is a lot scarier than just like.
So are you just worried about the overall workload?
I'm worried about can Lonzo Ball play 50 games in an NBA season.
My second thought after this would be it has to be like free agency, like make a move in free agency to shore up some things.
But just to we worry like about AD's health.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay. But then how we would worry about
Embiid,
Derrick Rose's health,
yeah.
or like Kawhi, like recent health. It's like, oh, well, that guy certainly isn't playing bad. Kawhi and the Clippers got into the playoffs, and I know for me, it was like, well, he won't last beyond a round. They won 7 games. He was never holding up in the OKC series. That's just Kawhi Leonard. Like, I do not know how much actual basketball is left in Lonzo, but to your guys' point, if there is,
it's worth the swing.
You want my real take? I maybe would just start him over Garland. But that's the pretty.
I actually agree with you.
Pacers are next, right here on SportsGrid.
go with Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course than OKC, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Indiana Pacers almost won the NBA championship. And unfortunately, the Tyrese Halliburton injury not only means they didn't win the NBA championship, but they don't have Tyrese Halliburton for all of next season. Currently, there are 5 teams with better odds than Indiana to win the East next year. They are tied with Detroit. There is a decent drop-off from then the next team, which would be Atlanta and Milwaukee. Again, I don't think we need to relitigate what Indiana could have been or how we all appreciated their great run. What are your at-the-moment expectations for Indiana, JY, for a season ahead without Tyrese Halliburton?
I think they want to try and find a way to get into that 6th slot and try and be a top 6 team. And I think it's going to change the way that Indiana's going to play. You're going to have to look at someone like Pascal Siakam being a little bit more facilitated. You're going to have Andrew Nembhard who's going to have to do more. And there is a guy that people forget was a starter for most of the year before, and that's Benedict Mathurin, that I think at times was really, really good in the finals and in the playoffs. Tom, to me, it's going to be no one person is going to replace Tyrese.
Right.
It's got to be what has really been good about Indiana all through the playoffs is it's got to be a collective effort to replace his production.
Yeah, I said this to Kevin right after the finals, where I said I would not be writing off the Pacers in any capacity. I would say they're still a playoff team, and the depth, I think, is what, again, has to shine, to your point. Like, that is what has to step forward. They have the experience to do so. The combination of Nesmith, Nembhard, and Mathurin, I think that is going to be vital to their success this year. You know, we can always have a conversation about will or will not Miles Turner ever be traded, because he's been traded 19,000 times over the past however many years. I don't think it'll happen, but names always brought up to the Lakers. But I see this as a step back, but if you give me them as a 6 seed at plus money in the playoffs in the first round, I'd be willing to take a shot on them.
Yeah, I would not.
Ooh.
I think there's a chance that they are 500 worse, quite frankly. So the teams that are listed in front of them, I I believe all should be listed in front of them. Does anybody disagree?
No.
Does anybody think the Cavs, the Knicks, the Magic, the Celtics, or Sixers should have worse odds than the Indiana Pacers right now? I think the Detroit Pistons. Now, again, maybe the idea of winning the East is about, like, oh, postseason pedigree, da-da-da, whatever. But, like, I'm just going to go off of this from a standings rate. Should Detroit have better odds than them? No, I don't believe so. Detroit's best player in Cade Cunningham is going to absolutely be an all-star next year, flirt with top 10 status. That is much better than what Indiana will be rolling out. Plus, Detroit will be getting back Jaden Ivey, the growth of Asar Thompson, maybe even a Ron Holland. Jalen Duren's incredibly young. And I'll go a step further, and I don't even know why this is controversial. The Milwaukee Bucks absolutely should have better odds than the Indiana Pacers. The Milwaukee Bucks have by far the best player in the conference and one of the 3 best players in basketball. The Indiana Pacers' best player going into next season, and Pascal Siakam took a quarter off of game number 7 because he couldn't get loose against OKC and had to defer to TJ McConnell. I'm sorry, but, like, the Bucks with Giannis, we can laugh about Doc Rivers all we want. I think they are absolutely set up to have a better season next year than Indiana without Tyrese Halliburton.
But even if you just say they're 500, they're the 7th seed in the East. So they
but last year was a nightmare season for the East. And I think the East is going to be a lot closer with that because I think it's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be in that mix. I don't think you're going to have, besides Cleveland, a 60-win team. I think a bunch of teams are going to be in that 55 to 45. Boston and Indiana will definitely be worse, right? But JY, but I think the Pistons could take a step forward record-wise.
Yes.
Orlando better, right? Miami with the Jimmy Butler thing absolutely ripped up the whole season. Atlanta will absolutely be better based on all the perception right there. That's 9 teams. You're not getting. I don't think you're getting in the playoffs in the East at 500.
55 to 45 is going to be a really tight win.
And Philadelphia, by the way, is
better.
supposed to add an additional 25 wins.
And I think the thing that I'm also selling is even if they're a 7, 8, 9, 10 seed, the way he coached this team, I'm taking Rick Carlisle in one game over any of these coaches that he's going against to get into the playoffs.
They could not. There was 12 minutes a game where the only pacer who scored was McConnell.
Yeah, but
that's not an exaggeration.
But also, you have to. There could be some emotion that they're just defeated.
True.
And going into a fresh season with a full head of steam of we know we got to step up.
Yeah.
There's something that's to be said.
I
it's
hear
also going to
that.
figure out what they're going to do with Miles Turner, who is a free agent.
I wouldn't go into the luxury tax for Miles Turner if Halliburton is gone.
I get more rebounds than him.
Durant, the Suns, it's all next.
We're going to go with Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, What better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and okay, safe, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Suns and the Rockets did a deal. Now, the deal has had a little extra context because the Suns drafted and did some trades. The Houston side of this we'll get to in a second. How do you feel, Coach, about Phoenix's return now that it's Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and Kaman Malawach?
I think there is some talent there. I mean, listen, Kevin and I are huge Malawach fans. I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic. And Jalen Green needed to find a new home, and you got that for someone that is on an expiring deal in which you really had no leverage. So to get a guy that could get you 22 points a game is fantastic. I think there's two Jalen Greens. There's a Jalen Green at 3. There's Jalen Green in the regular season. There's Jalen Green game 2. And there's Jalen Green who had 5 John Starks games in a series. Which Jalen Green is it? But the thing about Jalen Green is he's 23 years old. So to me, you have time to figure it out. Malawach, I think, is fantastic. I do like what they did last year with the Dunn kid out of Virginia. You got to get Bradley Beal off the roster. Beijing Ducks, Shanghai Sharks, how you doing? Send him over there. Get whatever yen you can get back. I mean, he's just got to go. But then the problem that I had with Phoenix, honestly, folks, is going into before they got Tyus Jones was this whole mantra of we had a half season a couple of years ago where Devin Booker had to run the point when Chris Paul was hurt. And we're like, Devin Booker's a point guard. Devin Booker's not a point guard. Neither is Jalen Green. So I need to know, once you get rid of Bradley Beal, who cannot be on that team, who is the point guard? And then I think as a sixth man, I actually don't mind it with Jalen Green.
Well, from a Phoenix perspective, I would say short term, it looks okay. Get Bradley Beal out of there. But if you develop Malawach, then it's all green. Like it's all upside from that point. I think at this point, I would be looking at Devin Booker as the tank commander, where they're not going to be competing next year, and it's just about getting the best possible draft.
They don't have their own pick, so that's not enough.
That's true. That's true. So I just don't see a path forward for them until Malawach develops into the player that he is expected or can be and reaches his ceiling. So I see this as a short-term loss, but a long-term gain for them if he develops. And I don't see them competing next year. I don't see this as a viable Western Conference team.
If you don't see them competing, then forget just the fact of, let's be honest, Devin Booker. At this point, and Bradley Beal, like, Devin Booker is 28 years old. If you're not going to compete and you don't have draft capital, and you're in this window where you're about to rebuild, but Malawach,
the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Trailblazers will all be better next year. They're all going to be better than the Suns. Would you agree with that?
No.
No? You don't think that the Spurs?
I'm not sure about that. I'm going to be higher on Phoenix than everybody.
Okay.
The Suns being bad last year, pieces of it weren't surprising to me because Nurkic and Durant being around and good were way too important, and both were outlier healthy the prior season. And Nurkic and Budenholzer, Mike Budenholzer gets way too much of a pass for what that whole season was. He was atrocious. I don't care what we thought about Budenholzer in the past. I don't care
think much about him.
He was an embarrassing. He put up an embarrassing effort as a coach this season. I think Devin Booker is still really good. I think that their center position is going to be infinity times better than what it was for the length of last season. Again, they won 36 games. So if their over-under is 35.5 next year, we'll call it, I would say over that number. That's my current read on this team. Now, what I would just say is I'm not telling you, could Portland be better? Could New Orleans be better? So the problem with all of this is, in the West right now, How many teams go into next season being like, cool, we're bad? The whole list in this moment is just Utah. Maybe Sacramento if they look in the mirror. The Grizzlies are sitting there 60-1 to win the West. The Grizzlies next year are going to end up with a win total of like 46.5.
Agreed.
But yet, so now I'm not sure that does not strengthen my case. I'm just saying I cannot guarantee you Phoenix is worse than those teams because they are not interested in being worse than those teams.
They can't be worse.
Well, all of their moves are going based on the fact that instead of drafting at 29 and keeping a 2029 pick, they traded for Mark Williams. They have no interest in losing next year. None. Like the Pelicans have no interest in losing. One of the things with the NBA that has always made some of the projections easy is you enter a season, you're like, look at those 8 teams that have no idea why they win on a nightly basis because they don't want to win. The Western Conference, is there another team you would throw in there that is interested in being bad next year beyond Utah and maybe Sacramento? And I don't even know if Sacramento qualifies.
I'm not saying that they are looking to be bad.
The Drew Holiday trade tells me they want to win games.
Yeah, that's a culture identity change.
It's going to be.
But the thing with Phoenix is that it's not that they're looking to be bad. It's just I don't think they will be good. I just don't think they will be good enough.
And that, again, is certainly the consensus and totally fine. And I'm doing a little bit of a wait until the dust settles to figure out how I do a Western Conference power ranking. But I cannot be sure that Portland, whose best player is is going to decidedly be better than the Phoenix Suns next year.
If you just base it off, and to Kevin's point, if you just base it off of FanDuel and where they have the Western Conference odds, the only teams that have worse odds than Phoenix right now are Utah, Portland, Sacramento.
Okay.
So that puts them in
bottom. That's
12
spot. Seed.
12 seed. Yeah, right above them is New Orleans, and then Memphis. Mm-hmm. So I think. Listen, I think you go into the league in the Western Conference, and you look at. There are questions. There is a lot of parity, but there's questions all about. We know how bad it is. Can Portland take the next step, right? Sacramento, are they going to start to regress? When does the bottom fall out of Golden State? Memphis, is there another move? Dallas, when does Kyrie get healthy?
Yeah.
Right? San Antonio, will they take the next step? What are they going to do? Denver, all of a sudden, we haven't talked about the fact that the Denver Nuggets owner said in the big dummy, ready? I'm bringing it back. The big dummy move of the year, this Kroenke, whatever this guy's name is.
Talk about the second apron.
Sorry, talk about the second apron. He's a Swedish chef, like cooking in the kitchen. This guy. Let me unbutton my jacket because I'm about to lose it. This guy says if there's an injury, we may have to trade Joker. Like, what are you doing? Like, if I'm joking, I'm joking. I'm like, I'm going back and I'm going to do my hardest racing and my Serbian horses, and I'm never coming back because the owner basically said if Jamal Murray gets hurt, which he always does get hurt, then all of a sudden Nikola Jokic is on the box. So to me, there's questions all about the Western Conference.
Now, again, to go to the other side of it, though, and to be totally fair, if power ranking impact of your best player gets hurt, right? The Bucks are number 1 because they go from 45 wins to 25 wins, right? Devin Booker might be 2. Not the second best player in the league.
No, I understand what you're saying.
But the Nuggets would go from 52 wins to 40. You'd be surprised how many, unless Jamal got hurt. But then that's okay.
I understand what you're.
Devin Booker misses time equals, oh my gosh, what's happened? I guess I'm also still high on Devin Booker. Do you think that
the Suns are this year's Saints for you? You're too high on them relative to the market.
I was right about the Saints.
They were horrible last year. I said they were going to miss the playoffs.
They were 2-0, unbelievable point differential, and then Derek Carr got hurt.
And this is the same situation.
No, right. So, but again, the meat in the middle of this is if Devin Booker gets hurt, the Phoenix Suns will be bad. Just like I would have told you the Saints would be bad if Derek Carr got hurt. Awesome, cool. I was right. We'll be right back.
go with Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score in all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course than OKC, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We did a whole segment on the Durant trade and only talked Suns, and that's the good stuff. And by the way, I ended up speaking way too highly about Phoenix and didn't even include Kaman Malawach. So I may really like this team, it turns out. Look, the Rockets piece of this before we quickly get to the Celtics. I'll go to you in this way.
Yeah.
The Orlando trade, we couldn't agree more on, right? Do you feel that the Rockets are similar to the Magic in terms of they've moved the odds way too much, or do you agree with Houston right now almost being in their own tier of Western Conference booking?
I think both things can be true. They should be in a tier of their own, but the odds move is too much. Right? Like if you're just looking at the conferences of the West, it's a little bit too much. If you would have told me that the Rockets settled at 7-1, I'd be like, okay, that's fair. 5-1, 5.5-1, I don't like it. Where we disagree on a lot of things a lot of times, but when it comes to odds, sometimes we're like, we literally could not be more lockstep about the market moves that teams see. I think you would agree with that.
I think because there's just a level of logic that has to come. Here's the thing, right? So you and I somehow disagree on the Suns and the Pacers, right?
Right.
But the number will come out, and then we'll both end up agreeing on it.
Oh, 100. That's how.
Yeah, because there's just we agree on things that almost don't exist.
That's what's good about it, though.
Yeah.
But the Rockets, their number.
Disagree on things that don't exist. Go ahead.
I know what you're alluding to. Like the Rockets' number, 5.5 is too short. I would never bet that. I would never recommend it as bet. If they start off slow and they get to closer to 10-1, that's fine. We can have that conversation.
I'll just say this quickly, JY. One thing that you were absolutely spot on about last year that I was way wrong about was the Rockets being a playoff team. I bet them to not be a playoff team, and you were like, no. Ime and the Rockets trending up. So I imagine you're going to be, or maybe not. I don't know, but I could see you being pretty high on this Houston group coming into the season.
I'm hugely high on this Houston group going into this year. I think what Houston did is they played the Kevin Durant sweepstakes perfectly. They waited. They waited everybody out. He didn't want to go to Minnesota, right? Miami never was ever serious. New York didn't want him. San Antonio wasn't going to give up anything of significance. And we can, and I'm a Knicks fan. I think the Knicks were wildly wrong for not trying to swing for Kevin Durant. I think they're going to live to regret this. So Houston goes ahead and trades a guy that really didn't do anything in 5 or 6 games. Kevin and I are both huge Reed Shepherd and Cam Whitmore fans. and I can easily plug one of them into the starting lineup. Not saying you're going to get to 22 points a game, but it's not needed with Kevin Durant coming here. Amen Thompson replaces Dillon Brooks. Dillon Brooks, he can go too.
I got to show you that video. I still have it on my TikTok.
So he could go. To me, Houston now has a guy that late shot clock bails you out, a guy that I don't think needs to feel like he's got to score 28 points a game. He's got a really crazy front line with Şengün and arguably one of the 5 best defensive players in the floor in the world, in Amen Thompson. Then you have a bench with Steven Adams, which is one of the sneaky moves already of the offseason, re-signing for 3 years, $39 million. Jabari Smith is coming off the bench. Torrey Eason comes off the bench. They're long. They're athletic. They have experience in the backcourt and the front court with Van Vliet and Durant, and they have one of the top 5 coaches in Ime Udoka. Now, to Tom's point, maybe I'm not saying the number is wrong. I'm saying that maybe the Lakers should be a little bit closer to Houston.
I agree with this.
I think, and it's not to get Kevin excited.
Lakers City over here, these two.
I think you're going to get a motivated crew. And with all these bigs out there, I think the Lakers are going to get a pivot. They can call Phoenix and get Nick Richards. They could try and get Nicholas Claxton. Maybe they call the Knicks on Mitchell Robinson. There is a big that's out there that the Lakers are going to get to shore up their front line, and J.J. Redick will not be an idiot when it comes to the playoffs and not adjust.
I said this to Ben and Donnie on Monday morning, where when the odds came out, I said the Lakers are at least interesting to me because at a certain point, LeBron's going to be like, I only got like a year or two left. You got to make a move. Go make another move. Bring a big in to bring them alongside Luka and LeBron. And at that point, they were 14-1. I was like, that's at least interesting.
I have a wild take about this whole LeBron saying, like, rings don't matter. I think this was a dig to get these guys who are like, yo, we're going for it. Like, we're going for it. So, rings don't matter. So I don't think we're going to be very good. And all of a sudden, these guys, Luka's, oh, that big. And he lost a little weight. He looks good. And all of a sudden, here come the Lakers. And I did not do this to reel Kevin in.
That is the greatest zag I've ever heard. I've never heard. It's unbelievable. I think it's crazy. But I love it. It's so crazy.
It just might work.
Your take is LeBron said rings don't matter in an attempt to get his organization to think rings matter and push all in for a title. I mean, that's not even left field, man. That's warming up.
Hey, listen.
That is wild.
Hey, as a coach, you do whatever you can to motivate you guys.
This guy's Mars over here. You're going reverse psychology. Rings don't matter. Therefore, they're going to go all chips in the middle.
Hey, listen. If you look at how if you see how Luka's looking right now, you want me to tell me there ain't a little motivation going on in L.A.? Ain't a little bit easy.
Here,
I'm telling you.
Here, we'll do the Tom and Kevin agrees portion of this segment. LeBron should just go to Cleveland.
LeBron should just go to Cleveland?
Come on, there's no way. Pretty simple. He would they'd be title favorites.
LeBron and Bronny package to Cleveland?
Who says no? Not the Cavs.
Jared Allen or Mobley on the way back. The Lakers finally
you're not getting Mobley. You're not getting Mobley.
So what would the trade be?
Well, it'd be a sign-in trade. So maybe LeBron just signs for the minimum, right? Isn't that what everybody wants? For one of the 10 best players in the NBA, he should sign for the minimum.
You know what? Listen, LeBron. Why don't you just do this?
No, don't do this.
Listen to Coach. I can help you rebound. Coach is going to help him rebound.
If
LeBron's watching this show, it should not be you talking to him.
Just decline to come to the Knicks. Come to the Knicks.
All right.
Come to the Knicks.
We got to get back on track.
Who do you guys want? Call him Dadier?
I still don't even know if we've talked about Kevin Durant. It feels like. No, we did. We have best bets next. Here.
The show's almost over?
On SportsGrid.
We're going to third hour?
This guy.
We're going to go with Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score in all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and OKC, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, back with you right here on SportsGrid. We have best bets in 3-man weave to do, but also, could you imagine watching this show, Celtic fan whole time? When are they going to talk Anthony Simons? So quickly, 100% Celtics pie roundtable.
Okay.
All your Celtics thoughts at once. Tom goes first.
No defense from Simons. all gas, no breaks. Shoot the ball because Tatum's out. We need the offense. Hopefully he gets better on defense.
As a Knicks fan, I absolutely love it. The Celtics are going to suck this year. Anthony Simons will not play a lick of defense. You will piss off Joe Mazzulla. Jaylen Brown will get traded. They have no bigs. And why the hell did they wait to draft for Murray Williams when they could have drafted Maxime Renard or Ryan Kalkbrenner in the NBA draft?
I like Amari Williams. I would just say that Anthony Simons, there is a lot of smoke around them potentially trading Anthony Simons.
They were smoking all right.
So they may have already upped his value just by putting him on their books for a moment. I would say for Portland, bringing in Drew is not going to make you a 60-win basketball team or a legitimate title contender, but it could make you a playoff team.
Second time on the Portland Trailblazers.
But first time he'll play some games. And for Kristaps to Atlanta, he really, really completes their full court. But it is concerning because then that means you're looking for Kristaps to play 60-plus games, and that's just not really been the Kristaps MO.
I will say, you know, you move Capella. Okongwu showed me some stuff in the postseason where I think that if you have spots starting, you need him for 10 games, so Okongwu can step in. But Capella's going to be moved. That's a dominant. Maybe the Lakers will get Clint Capella, only 31 years old.
No, thank you. Maybe Onyeka Okongwu for the L.A. Lakers. Now, it is time. Roll it. Roll it.
What is happening?
All right, that's on me. I should have been able to keep it together off of Tom's roll it, but I couldn't. It makes me go straight to Tom, though. Tom, your three-man weave.
Three-man weave. Let's go with Sonia Citron over
Notre Dame.
14.5 points. If we have the graphic for that. Do we have the graphic for that? Over 14.5 points. It was at plus 102. Might as well call her Sonia Citrus because she's got the juice. Shooting 50 and nearly 50, nearly 40 from field goal and three. Love the scoring potential.
You're banned for the Sonia Citrus thing.
That's a great nickname. She's got the juice.
Outrageous. Over 9.5 rebounds and assists for Paige Beckers. The scoring has been consistent and really, really good. But the rebounds and assists, up and down, but you're in a bounce-back spot as they are on tonight's slate up against the Mystics. I think Dallas actually could win that basketball game as Washington's on a little bit of a road trip and did just beat Vegas the other day. JY, what is your three-man weave?
With one game in the WNBA and 5 tomorrow, my three-man weave is Francisco Lindor to go 2+ bases at +1. Listen, when you look at Francisco Lindor, Mets played awful last night, losing 9-1. David Peterson, how you doing? Where were you at last night? I was at Dave & Buster's spending over $700, and you absolutely sucked. That's why I drank more beer. Now, for me, Lindor's going to be better today. Mets need a win. Lindor's the most important player. Hits leadoff, gets you a double off the jump. Lindor, 2+ bases.
Donnie's got a hot seat all of a sudden now for pro baseball today. Let's do some best bets here. What is it, Yanks money line, JY? What's your best
Minus
bet?
330?
My best bet is Paige Becker's over PRA. So I go the other way now, bring it back over 27.5. Paige Becker's has been absolutely fantastic going against Washington today. And if you look at Paige going against Sonia Citron, two buddies played together for a little bit. I look for her to go over 27 PRA.
Mine's going to be Kevin Seattle Storm -5. Looking good as of late scoring, although the Valkyries have been better than a lot of people expected. Just like Seattle, how they've been playing as of late. They cover a short number that is, and get things done and pick up the win.
I am going to do a little look ahead here for the people for one of the bigger upcoming WNBA games, which is the Commissioner's Cup game. And I would lay the 4.5 now with the Lynx. I do not know if Caitlin Clark is going to play in this basketball game. JY and I had discussed earlier in the week if Clark missed the game against the Sparks to set up a matchup with Paige on Friday. It did not. I saw some reports that potentially Clark's injury could cost her more than a week of basketball. That would put her out for this Minnesota game that I believe is currently being priced with her in. So I think getting 4.5 right now for Minnesota, it's
already moved up to 5.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those numbers. Just quickly, JY, what would you imagine that spread is if Caitlin Clark is not playing in that game?
It probably goes to 5.5. It would probably be 6.5. I would think right there. It would move a couple of points because obviously how good Minnesota is and how much they rely on Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, so that is one of the look-ahead spots there. Again, that is a big game in the WNBA on Tuesdays. Bennett Treat, baseball, first base coach James Young, Tom Vecchio. I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you next time on SportsGrid.
We're going to go with Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, What better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and okay, safe, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.